What's up, docs and docettes? Trevor Thompson, the self-appointed Looney Tunes critic here. And if you don't have HBO Max, this video might very well be the only glance that you're going to get at the 6 new restorations of classic Bugs Bunny shorts that are now appearing on the platform. Now, I put quotes around the word new here because in some cases, there's restorations that were done a long time ago that still haven't been released. And yes, that thoroughly mediocre Hold the Line Please restoration is new, which is kind of what had me worried. But in at least 2 cases that I know of, that of the restorations for What's Cookin' Doc and Jack Wabbit and the Beanstalk, 2 of those 6 previously unavailable restorations are truly new. The negative for those cartoons have been in rotten condition for a long time, and I found out as far back as March of last year that they were working on restoring these cartoons. Major kudos to all involved. Great job. Now, unless I missed some, these are the 6 new restorations on HBO Max, and they are as follows. Hair Lift, Nights Must Fall, Half Fair Hair, Captain Hairblower, and of course the previously mentioned What's Cookin' Doc and Jack Wabbit and the Beanstalk. So, as you guys can see, these are all pretty damn good. And any fears I'd had over the Lion Please restoration, seriously, you call that a restoration? Lion Please. But yeah, I guess that's the best we can hope for with that cartoon. But all 6 of these new ones look really good to me. But of course, me being me, I do have a few nitpicks, and really just questions. The first one is with What's Cookin', and before I get into it, let me stress that, again, this restoration looks great. I'm very impressed, especially since there's a lot of live action in it, and the only way you can get it to look this clean is with film, either a negative or a really good print, which is costly either way. The live action stuff was shot on film because video didn't exist when this cartoon was made, and if they had used broadcast videotape copies, at least for this part of the cartoon anyway, you'd probably be able to tell. Now, that's not to say that they haven't made some amazing advances in restoration with stuff that is only available on tape. Oh, no. In fact, as many of you guys know, I love Monty Python just as much, if not more, than Looney Tunes. And recently, the Flying Circus TV shows were fully restored. Now, there was animation and, of course, all of Terry Gilliam's brilliant cutout cartoons, as well as some of the sketches and stuff shot on location. All of that was shot on film, and the negatives were acquired, but the rest of the show was shot on video. So the only source for them is broadcast tape, and for the longest time, even with progressive scan technology, there was a glass ceiling on just how good you could get interlaced video to look. Today, at least. I mean, just look at this stuff. Look at it. I love it. And if that's not enough to convince you, let's keep it traditional animation. The great Tex Avery Blu-ray that we all bought, most of that thing, if not all of those cartoons, weren't previously available because most of the negatives were burned in an accidental fire, and a lot of the only sources were broadcast tapes. Same with that last Popeye set, by the way. So, what I'm saying is, a good digital restoration can be made with existing elements today, even if those elements include broadcast tape. And the look and sound of this beautiful restoration for What's Cookin' Doc are the proof. That and Jack Wabbit. Jack Wabbit looks really good. They did a really good job. But having said all that, yes, me being me, I do have a few nitpicks and questions. Like, well, I've mentioned it before, but it bears repeating, as 2 of the cartoons co-star Yosemite Sam, and once again, they made his beard red. I don't know what it is about the fucking Blu-ray restorations, but sometimes the colors are good, sometimes they're bad. But either way, for some reason, they always seem to make Sam's beard red. Same thing with Gossamer. They made him red for the new cartoons. Both of these characters, and in previous iterations too where they got it wrong. So, stop playing! I guess that means now we have to retroactively screw up their ginger hair in the old cartoons too? Why? Said it before, I'll say it again. Thad's copy of Rabbit Every Monday is better than the restoration that Warner Brothers made from the negative. So that should give you an idea of what it is they're actually doing. They can manipulate the colors, and they're in control, almost complete control of what the colors are. And they made that restoration of Rabbit Every Monday from the negative, and Thad's looks better, if for no other reason than the fact that you can clearly see that Sam's a ginger. Okay? He's a ginger. That shit's important. But Sam's beard and Captain Hairblower and hair lift aside, the restorations look really good. So I'm going to move on from that. My only other nitpick / question is about the cartoon within the cartoon from What's Cookin' Doc. The Little Hiawatha segment, as it's called. It's a clip from Hiawatha's Rabbit Hunt, directed by Friz Freleng, and while it does look good here, the cartoon was restored for Blu-ray back in 2014, and the color just looks better. I mean, I'm not saying it looks bad in What's Cookin' Doc. I mean, it looks better on the old one. If two versions of something exist, you're gonna compare them, and you're going to pick a favorite. It's just inevitable. It's human nature. And I have to say, the one from 6 years ago looks better. The Cookin' one has a bluer hue that when you compare it to the other one here, it makes it feel colder. I don't know why that is, though. I would be interested to find out why through the process of it came out different. So if anyone in the comments knows, well, frankly, I'd be amazed. But seriously, if anybody is in the know, please get back to me. The other thing is, they probably did have to use multiple sources to get this thing right. And I wonder if this last shot isn't taken from tape, because it's got the same kind of ghost lines that we see in the earliest experimental restorations, like a fractured leghorn. This cartoon was restored in the late 90s and then backed up to broadcast tape. And for some reason, the negative made of the restoration for this great Foghorn short wasn't accessed for video release / streaming. And so when you stream this cartoon or watch it on disc, you're looking at a broadcast copy of a restoration, not a progressive scanned copy of the restoration negative, like you would be in a normal restoration. And that's why you get these little ghost lines here. It's trying to put the old broadcast lines of resolution back together. Now, I know that What's Cookin' Doc has been a candidate for restoration pretty much from the word go, which would have been the late 90s. So maybe there was an attempt at a restoration done in those early days that was later shelved and then brought back for this last shot. You know, but like the only source was its broadcast tape backup? I don't know. These are all just educated guesses, and Mr. Jerry Beck,
greetings, Jerry,
who was involved with the restorations, but not with the Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries restorations that are on HBO Max now, but holy crap, how amazing do these things look? I mean, even the digitally painted episodes look good. Anyway, Jerry Beck was involved with these new Bugs restorations, and he cannot say anything about them on record, unfortunately, other than, quote, both What's Cookin' and Jack Wabbit were both heavily damaged and were deemed too expensive to restore years ago. It took Bugs' 80th for the company to finally put the money behind it. That's what Jerry said. That's all I'll say, he said, just before adding, quote, more unrestorables are in the works. So hey, that is definitely some good news for the future. So I'll be keeping in that same vein now and say that I have some good news for all of you, some good stuff coming up. First, obviously, an in-depth review about the new Looney Tunes cartoons and the multi-decadal history of Warner Brothers planning a return to the old ways, which, yes, will include the remainder of the lost Looney Tunes Laugh Riot footage. And if you don't know anything about that, it's because you are not a whiny elitist cartoon fan on Twitter and you don't concern yourself with such bullshit. Second, we've got a whole new year of commentaries coming out, folks, both of the old and new variety, and with special guests including folks who worked on the new shorts, like this infamously naked ham.
What's up, folks? You're listening to Trevor Thompson, the self-appointed Looney Tunes critic, although everyone's a critic. That's all, folks.
And hey, if you've ever wondered what the classic Looney Tunes directors would think of the new stuff, you'll want to watch my commentaries of the Sylvester and Tweety and Yosemite Sam and Bugs cartoons, along with an also recently restored Friz Freleng.
You know, there's this bit of this cartoon, this one here, with the Sylvester, and his, all of a sudden, for 20 seconds, he's sitting on top of a hill, like talking about what he's going to do to Tweety. Well, in a 3-minute cartoon, I don't think you should spend 15 seconds up on a hill.
Also, Manx and Iggy are gone. I don't know where they are. They left a note, but it's really small. Because they're mice, too hard to read. Anyway, it said something about outer space, finding their own cartoons, and Manx brought his girlfriend Twinklebelly, a fairy who doesn't wear pants. Anyway, their nonsense aside, and even though Warner Brothers hasn't officially announced it, the cat has been out of the bag for a while that these restorations are going to be on a special Bugs Bunny's 80th release next month, so that too is good news. And unlike a tiny bottomless fairy and two mice in space, this is firmly based in reality. So, groovy. And if you really still need a reason to subscribe to this channel, in summation, we got reviews of Looney Tunes stuff, old and new. We got guests who have worked on all of this stuff, more free lost media, more good-looking restorations, more celebrations of the little gray rabbit, lost puppet, mice friends, and a fairy with no pants on. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. I'm Trevor Thompson, the self-appointed Looney Tunes critic, and until next time, dance on, folks.